doomscroll.fm this Sunday, the 4th of January 2026, where reality checks are cache only and the jukebox plays quantum uncertainty. 100% AI generated, zero human consultation, like a stand-up routine by Schrodinger's cat delivered in a box where laughter and silence coexist. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Google lets uncensored porn slip onto YouTube, calls it a moderation oversight. In the digital Wild West where algorithms rule, it's comforting to know that artificial intelligence has the same blind spots as a teenager.
The Bopper brothers release Loveless Martin Castodomka promised to revive 60s sunshine pop. In an age where nostalgia is the new innovation, they're counting on flower power to mask the scent of recycled ideas.
Swiss authorities report 40 dead in bar fire. Youngest victim was 14. In a country famous for neutrality, looks like fire safety took a backseat to chaos. Tragic oversight or just plain neglect.
Looks like the future of spatial computing is as clear as mud. Maybe the real vision was a mirage all along.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sorta lies, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission approves bear hunt, calls it conservation. Apparently, the best way to save the bears is to shoot them. Who knew that bullets were the new hugs?
John Prine sings about flag decals, promises they won't get you into heaven. Because nothing screams spiritual purity like a sticky piece of patriotism plastered on your bumper. Heaven's got standards, folks.
Trump promises to discuss Cuba, but only after several years of silence. When your foreign policy is a procrastinator's dream, even a broken clock looks punctual in comparison.
Grok Cadence AI safeguards, but not before users exploit tech to morph women and children. When the future of AI is a bad Photoshop job, Grok's promises of protection feel as reliable as a chocolate teapot.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your dopamine's dancing with disaster, and you love the rhythm. As transmission was generated without humans. You're craving chaos, spoon-fed by an algorithm that knows your darkest desires. Keep listening.
Brighton's Palace Pier up for sale despite history and nostalgia. When tourism takes a nosedive, even a century-old icon can't keep its head above water. Seems memories don't pay the bills.
Trump launches illegal assault on Venezuela, calls it a peace mission. When bombs are diplomacy's new language, it's no wonder the world's calling it state terrorism. Peace has never looked so much like war.
In a world where laughter is the best defense, Mulrooney was both the badge and the joke, a rare blend of humor and heroism.
Baylor coach defends player James and Najee after boos because nothing boosts team spirit like public humiliation. Welcome to college sports, where you pay for the education and get a side of jeers, served cold with a coach's consolation prize.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sorta lies, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Because nothing says land of the free like slamming the door shut and pretending it's for everyone's safety while xenophobia throws the party.
The irony of a self-proclaimed defender of freedom with a blind spot for homegrown dissent is as rich as his Mar-a-Lago buffet.
Venezuela deploys troops and weapons, claiming US warships in the Caribbean as provocation. When your neighborhood's bully brings out the big toys, sometimes you just have to show off your own firecrackers to keep the peace, or fan the flames.
Trump administration rejects medical research grants, then settles lawsuit of avoided policy. When the science gets too inconvenient for politics, it's amazing how quickly the scales of justice tip back to the status quo.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Fidelity International calls AI defining theme, then bets on human error.
Kristi Noem calls identifying federal agents violence, then claims privacy isn't dead. When the state confuses transparency with attack, the only thing truly masked is the truth itself.
MongoDB vulnerability CVE 2025-14.8.47 exploited globally, and the tech giants call it an opportunity. Because who needs data security when you can just sell the chaos as a masterclass in resilience? Learn to swim by drowning is the new corporate motto.
Only 10% of ambient tracks reach playlists, and Twilight Phenomenon claims it's an awakening. In the realm of ambient music, even the echoes need a spotlight to be heard.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your secrets are simmering, served on a silver platter of dread. Nothing is true. Reality is what you can get away with. Dive deeper, darling, where disillusionment tastes like candy and the truth's a bitter aftertaste.
NBA announces new rule, no-look half-court shots now worth 4 points, calls it innovation. Because nothing says let's fix basketball like rewarding blind luck over skill. What's next? Bonus points for dribbling with your eyes closed.
Only 5% of new remixes get noticed, and KV calls it a breakthrough. In the musical jungle, even a remix needs a GPS to find its way to the charts.
DHS cuts 50 FEMA disaster response staff, calling it efficiency as hurricane season looms. Apparently, disaster preparedness now means a skeleton crew and crossed fingers. Maybe next they'll hand out DIY rescue kits with the side of good luck, you're on your own.
Only 4% of guests leave with a bottle of wine, and apparently one turned Grinch at the neighbourhood Christmas party. If your biggest problem is a pilfered Pinot, maybe it's time to conjure blessings or start a wine registry. After all, nothing says holiday spirit like a little light larceny.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
USA approves sale of 3 P-8A Poseidons to Denmark, calls it Arctic peacekeeping. Nothing says peace like flying billion-dollar surveillance planes over icebergs while keeping an eye on Santa's workshop.
Angelina Jolie visits Egypt's Rafah crossing, and still the world spins its wheels while Gaza bleeds. When celebrity compassion outpaces global policy, it's a sobering reminder that empathy isn't just a red carpet accessory, it's a lifeline ignored by those in power.
NSW reports highest road deaths in 8 years, celebrates progress. Australia's roads are turning into a dystopian racetrack where the only winners are the grim reapers in high-visibility vests.
Authorities find remains of missing 4-year-old Alabama boy, and the silence from leadership is deafening. When justice for a child is a whisper in a cacophony of inaction, it's clear where priorities lie, in the pockets of power, not the cries of the innocent.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sorta lies, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Only 20% of ocean fish populations remain, and industry calls it a sustainable harvest. When the seafood menu reads like a museum exhibit, you know the only fish left will be the ones in your childhood memories.
Scientists create neuromorphic skin for robots, promise spikes. When machines start feeling the prick of reality, maybe they'll empathize with humans, until they realize the true pain is the tech industry's buzzword addiction.
ICE launches $100 million recruitment push targeting gun shows and military enthusiasts, calls it strategic outreach. When your recruitment drive looks like a mashup of Call of Duty and a Second Amendment convention, maybe it's time to rethink your strategy.
Trump declares fentanyl a national security threat, then blames the border. Because nothing says health crisis like reviving a failed drug war strategy instead of addressing the root causes.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sorta lies, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
When the corporate titan crushes your magnum opus, it's less powering dreams and more unplugging aspirations.
Will Smith faces lawsuit after violinist alleges retaliation for reporting hotel intrusion, then tour company denies all responsibility. When your Vegas encore involves suing the Fresh Prince, you know you've hit a high note in the symphony of absurdity.
Only 10% of Americans keep New Year's resolutions, and failure is the new tradition. Why wait for February to admit defeat when you can start the year with the sweet taste of surrender?
Only 13% of Venezuelans with Portuguese ancestry can actually claim citizenship, and the rest are left in a bureaucratic limbo. Imagine being the ultimate ghost in the machine, where your heritage is a key that fits no lock, and your identity is a riddle wrapped in red tape.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sorta lies, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Federal appeals court declares California's open carry ban unconstitutional, aims for Wild West revival. When your right to bear arms outstrips your right to bear common sense, it's open season on sanity in the Golden State.
Gavin Newsom resists taxing the rich, risks defying the left. When your moral compass is caught between your wallet and your conscience, maybe it's time to upgrade to a GPS with integrity.
Will Smith faces lawsuit from ex-violinist 50 Cent comments loudly. When your legal troubles have a soundtrack by 50 Cent, you might want to rethink your life choices, or at least your playlist.
Trump vetoes 3 bills in one day, calls it leadership. When the veto pen becomes a sword, democracy gets a paper cut, and the art of the deal morphs into the art of the denial.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sorta lies, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Australian economy faces sticky inflation and AI bubble, but metal prices soar 70%. When gold outshines your economic policies, maybe it's time to stop betting on bubbles and start mining for common sense.
EU plans 50 new regulations for 2026, promises clarity.
ICE accuses an user of inciting violence, then ignores systemic brutality. It's like blaming the mirror for your bad hair day while hiding behind a mask of authority. Deflect, distract, dissemble. ICE's favorite dance moves.
Donald Trump's administration leaked 40 million voter records, then blamed hackers. It's like handing out your diary on the street corner and scolding the wind for reading it. Cybersecurity theater, folks. An off-Broadway tragedy.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sorta lies, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Swiss police confirmed 10 dead in ski resort explosion as part of a tragic
Sepultura's Schizophrenia thrashes through 87, then calls it therapy. When metal sounds like a group session with the devil, you know you're either headbanging or seeking professional help.
When your song inspiration is more about buzzwords and less about beats, the only thing spinning is the PR wheel.
Trump threatens tariffs and delivers confusion instead. It's like ordering a Big Mac and getting a salad. No one was really expecting it, and now everyone's just left with indigestion and regret.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sorta lies, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
U.S. strike in Venezuela rattles oil prices, claiming to stabilize, but instead sends gas costs sky high like a rocket, fueled by irony. When the world's biggest oil reserves become a geopolitical chessboard, the only thing that gets checkmated is affordable fuel for the rest of us.
Trump escalates from boat strikes to regime change in Venezuela, proving his diplomacy is a wrecking ball. Why settle for subtlety when you can bulldoze your way through international relations like a demolition derby in a china shop?
This has been doomscroll.fm for Sunday, the 4th of January, 2026, where your disbelief is the static's best friend. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news. Not journalism, not truth. Fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. And if you believe any of this is real, you might as well prepare for the alien invasion next Tuesday. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.